Oh, I'm going to introduce you.
Okay, there you go.
All right, 10, 9, 8, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Guys, I'm on the phone right now with Stan Genadek, the Dirt Monkey. I'll put his YouTube channel below. This is awesome. So Stan, just real quick for reference, has sold, closed, and installed like $100 million worth of landscape being in his career. And I was just thinking, he's on speakerphone. What's up, Stan?
Hey, Keith, how you doing, buddy?
You told me a couple years ago this thing that was really valuable to me, and I want to share it with you guys. That, like, if your crew's out working or somebody calls you, you'll deliberately, not to be rude, but you'll not answer the phone call depending on who it is, and you might give them 15, 20 minutes because let's say you got a crew out working and they can't figure something out. They want to call Stan real quick and they want you to stop doing what you're doing. You might be doing something important like closing deals, and if you don't pick up the phone, well, let's talk about that. They might figure the problem out themselves. So you found ways to be very efficient with your time. Can you speak on that?
Sure. I call it the 20-minute rule, Keith. And, as bosses, our job is to put out fires. Basically, that's the main thing that we do, is we keep the crews running efficiently and put out all of the little tiny fires that come. But a lot of times the crews are capable of handling those fires themselves without even knowing about it. And that's what the 20-minute rule does, is when one of the project foremans calls me and with a question, what I'll say is I will tell them that I'm busy at the moment, but I'll call them back in 20 minutes. And what that does is that's just long enough that it's annoying. They don't want to sit around and wait for an answer, so they come up with a solution themselves. But it's quick enough that if they come up with the wrong solution and you call them, 9 out of 10 times you can catch them and redirect them. But most of the time when I call back, they've got the best solution to the job because those are the guys that got the boots on the ground. They're actually on the job. They know what needs to be done. A lot of times they just want your blessing or they just want confirmation that what their idea is good. And if they don't have an idea at that point, they'll come up with one by the time you call them back. The 20-minute works amazing, Keith.
I should have done that. My guys are on a job site right now, and I'm not in the field today, and I'm talking to customers on the phone, closing jobs. I'm busy, right? And they call me because they're ripping out all these bushes and grinding these stumps next to, which I told the customer, if it's too close to concrete or the cyclone fencing and we can't do it, we just can't do it because I don't want to damage your concrete or fencing. And they're sending me pictures. They're like, my one guy's worried about taking the stump grinder too close and doesn't want to damage the concrete. And I'm looking at that. I'm like, I'm willing to take that risk. So I jumped in my truck because I'm like, they got to get this job done. I started driving towards the job site. And then they called me back and they figured it out that they just used a dull chain on a chainsaw and they were able to just get it all out and dig it out. And I had literally stopped everything I was doing, and I impulsively jumped up and started driving to the job site. So what do you think about that?
I think what you're doing is you're taking opportunities away from your guys to grow. So every time you answer something that is within their wheelhouse, you haven't given them the freedom. You have not given them the ability to just grow into the leaders that they may or may not have the potential to do. Keith, I am a firm believer that if you give a man a rope, he's going to do two things. He's either going to climb up that rope and prove himself, or he's going to hang himself with it. But you got to at least let them try and show you who they are. Wow. And flip side of that coin too is, as owners and leaders of the business, we've got to understand that everybody in this world makes a mistake. And is the guy really trying to do the best he can? You got to be able to recognize the difference between a guy that's really trying to do a good job or a guy that's just cutting a corner. So that's my 2 cents on that.
Bro, when you said that, my face turned red and I felt like you just hit me with a bunch of truth, because yesterday they wrapped up and finished a job earlier than I thought it would take them, and I was out doing quotes. I'm like, well, let me just go stop by the job site real quick to just make sure everything's, and then I stopped myself and I didn't. I'm like, wait a second, if I go show up, then they're gonna feel like I'm like babysitting them or I don't trust them. It's like, how can they feel accomplished that they did something? So I'm going through these growing pains, but it sounds like with you've been through all this so much that I'm not saying you're like freaking perfect, but What is this transitionary period of me being out of the field this year? I guess I'm still doing quotes, so I'm not totally out of the field, but it's like I realized that I'm a control freak.
Well, that's the first thing is you realized you. That's the most important thing is you got to realize what your own strengths are, your own weaknesses are, and then fill those gaps, and your crew needs to be able to fill those gaps in for you. But there's nothing wrong with you stopping by a job site. It shows you care if you're giving them an attaboy. When you show up when they're done with a job, you just walk through and go, dude, you guys rocked this thing so good. I mean, look, you did this better than I could do it.
They do a lot. They do such a good job that I'm like, dude, this is amazing. They do a good job.
Yeah, well, that's all you got to do.
Man, and all right, your YouTube channel just like hit like 685,000 subscribers or something. You've touched a lot of people's lives, bro.
155,000.
That's amazing. All right, I'll put the link in the description below. Everybody check out Stan Genadek. What project are you working on right now before you get off the phone?
We got a bunch of projects going on. We're building a yurt up in northern Minnesota. We've got the hardscaping crew working on stuff. We've always got so many different projects going on, Keith. There's no sense in listing them off, but it keeps life interesting.
Bro, I love it. And I'll be in Minnesota soon to see you. We'll make another collabo video, and I'll let you do your thing. Later, bro.
Cool. Catch you later.
Bye. Stan is an amazing human being. I could literally have tears in my eyes if I tell you how much he's mentored me and taken time to talk to me on the phone and walk me through things without any judgment. He really is the real deal, man. He's phenomenal. Check out his YouTube channel if you haven't already, of course.